The two themes of this show on Monday night both revolved around John Cena, as everything does in WWE. Number one, John Cena sucks at comedy. Actually, I take that back. I am willing to bet that John Cena is actually very good at comedy when scripted by somebody else. So those two movies he's in next year that are coming out, I bet he's really funny in those movies. When WWE scripts comedy for John Cena, he really, really sucks. It's bad enough that we have to sit through his comedy every single week, like we did at the end of this show. Now, they're replaying his comedy bits from a year ago. That's what they did in the opening segment. We finally see some actual storyline consistency from this company, but it's John Cena comedy that they decide to show us from last year with the Ryback stuff. I guess be careful what you wish for. But the second thing that was made abundantly clear this week, and I've been saying this for months, okay, maybe years, on this podcast. If you are a friend of John Cena's, and Zack Ryder found this out the hard way, if you're a friend of John Cena's on television, if you are partners with John Cena, you're on your own. Best of luck, pal. Best of luck. That's all I can say. Don't expect him to come save you when the odds are stacked against you. This guy has built a team for Survivor Series to take on the Authority. Dolph Ziggler is getting his ass kicked. The Big Show is laying there unconscious in a pool of sweat. Sheamus ends up in the hospital as a result. And no John Cena to be found. Perhaps he's running late to the building, doing snatch, or whatever the fuck it is that he does at the gym that he's always tweeting about. Oh no. Because a couple of segments later, there he is, backstage, watching intently on a widescreen. Thank God he's only a wrestler. Imagine all of the lives that would be lost if John Cena was a cop, or a fireman, or a lifeguard. You know how many people would drown each year? If Cena really was Superman, like people say he is, okay, Zod would win and the movie would be over in 15 minutes. It's just... And then we had the main event segment, which was supposed to be a contract signing. Although, interestingly enough, there was no contract signed. And I don't know if that's going to play into things. If, let's say, the Authority does lose its Survivor Series and they say, well, we never signed the contract, and that's our loophole to get out of this whole thing. I would hope not. That would be a cheap way to kind of worm your way out of that whole thing. But interestingly enough, it was a contract signing without any contracts being signed. This segment I was not a fan of until the end. It got better at the end when they started doing the reveal of the different members of Team Cena came back out. But oh my God! I mean, until that point, you heard some of it at the top of the podcast. I played some of the audio. They decided to go the comedy route. Now, the last time they decided to go the comedy route for a Survivor Series main event was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and John Cena in a three-way that actually, if I remember, turned out to be a pretty good match. And it had that great open where as soon as the bell rang, Shawn super kicked Triple H out of the ring. It was like the shocking moment nobody saw coming. The match itself was good, but the build-up to that match was horrendous. You had three of the biggest stars in the company ever, let alone at that time, fighting for the World Championship, and they built it up on comedy with Hornswoggle every single week. It was a fucking joke. And that Survivor Series did such a horrible buy rate that for a certain period of time in 2010, there was no Survivor Series. Vince McMahon was like, that's it, take it off the schedule. For a while there, it said TBA to be announced on the pay-per-view schedule where Survivor Series was supposed to be because he canceled the show. And then he came to his senses, he got talked out of it, and Survivor Series lived on. But it's like, why do you think the show did so bad? Gee, I wonder. When you build a main event around fucking comedy with a midget, I wonder why your pay-per-view didn't do well. And so here we are. They've been building this thing up like the Invasion from 2001, where everything is on the line here. Triple H actually did a pretty good job earlier cutting a promo about the importance of this match and what it means. And, he and Stephanie are going to lose their jobs if Team Authority doesn't win and all of this stuff. And now they've added the stipulation about the firing, too. But this match is supposed to be taken seriously. Everything is at stake here, and they decide to do comedy. They decide to have John Cena do comedy. That wasn't funny. Nobody was laughing. Nobody was reacting. It's cringeworthy when they give him this material to go out there with. And why he doesn't speak up and say something, I'll never know. What a team player this guy is. Would it be so bad to say this stuff sucks? I'll come up with something better. Maybe it is. Maybe it's his idea. Maybe he does come up with something better, and that's what he comes up with. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew who is responsible for this awful comedy. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that that's how they're building this match. So when they came back and all of a sudden John Cena got all serious, it was like, who cares? Who cares? It's a fucking joke, right? So why should I care? But then they did the reveals, and Ziggler came out there, and Big Show came out there, and they did the Eric Rowan entrance, which I actually thought was very well done because they showed Luke Harper's face, and Harper had this like shocked look on his face, and the people actually reacted to Eric Rowan. I think it was more, it was a genuine surprise, and they liked the idea of Harper against Rowan. I don't know how long that feeling of euphoria for Eric Rowan will last, probably not very long, but on this night, people loved it. And, you know, look, they did the thing with Cesaro where he came out and it looked like he was going to join Team Cena, only he was like, no, and it was like, he was trolling. And then he vanished. I thought maybe they were adding him to the match, they were going to make it 6-on-5. Nope, he just kind of disappeared. They had a big brawl, and Cesaro was nowhere to be found. Ryback was the last guy, of course, who came out. And to end the show, we had John Cena delivering an attitude adjustment to Triple H through a table. And that is how they went off the air.